Two other presentations that are coming through will take us to the next part. It is my pleasure to now call upon Ms. Reuven Kaufman, President of the Diamond Dealers Club of New York, to come through and make a presentation. Let's welcome
that you made. It's obvious that you and the governor have two different types of marriages, but I guess that they both work. Knowledge first. Minister Mapofu just stepped out for a minute, so I'll wait to speak about him. But I would like to acknowledge the people that are responsible for bringing us such a beautiful and organized event. I'd first like to acknowledge the executive chair of the DMCC of Dubai, Mr. Ahmed Ben Sulayem, who had so much of a hand in organizing this and pushed it. And I'd like to say on a personal level, I had the honor of, no problem. Minister Mapofu, you've told me your history in this beautiful country. You've told me how you were a freedom fighter in the bushes, fighting for the independence of Zimbabwe, and in 1980 you were successful. Today, Minister, you are again a freedom fighter, fighting for the independence of your diamonds on the world market. As you were successful in 1980, we again wish you the best of luck in your current fight. And we are sure you will succeed. I'd also like to recognize an unsung hero, Mr. Peter Mayos, so many hours into this work. As an American, I am proud also to speak about our current chair of the KP, Ms. Gillian Milivanovic. Gillian, you're become, clear and effective. You've handled this job tremendously, with tremendous class, dignity, open-mindedness, and a great sense of humor. You've been given the hardest asset known to man, the diamond, and you've yet handled it with the soft tactfulness and competence that only a woman can. Trust me, I'm not surprised. After being married 37 years, I've never underestimated the power of a woman. You may not be the 8th wonder of the world, because we all know we're the 8th wonder, but you're definitely the 9th wonder. Happy Diwali to all my Indian friends, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a remarkable experience for me, a tremendous eye-opener for someone like myself who has spent a major portion of his professional life in the diamond business. Let me thank the organizers of the Zimbabwe Diamond Conference for initiating this event and for bringing us all to this beautiful place. Many describe the diamond as the jewel in the crown. Well, then Victoria Falls certainly qualifies as the jewel in Africa's crown. Let me bring you greetings from another jewel, a jewel in the crown of America, the great city of New York, and more specifically from New York's diamond trading community. This conference has been an eye-opener for me because it has revealed a sector of our industry that in the past, and I emphasize the past, operated for us way over the horizon. We knew it was there, but we could not see it. And because of the things and the ways things were structured, and regretfully so, as long as the diamonds kept on flowing through the pipeline, and they invariably did, we went about our business without dwelling on what was happening in the producing countries. For about a century, the rough-producing countries and the diamond manufacturing and trading centers operated in what essentially were parallel universes. When we bought rough goods, the Americans traveled to London and Antwerp. Few American diamantaires ever traveled to Africa, not to mention visiting an alluvial diamond field or going down a mine. Before De Beers introduced its supplier of choice program in the year 2000, only a handful in the loose diamond cutting and trading community had much experience in the jewelry industry and retail trade, and it was unlikely that they had direct contact with jewelry consumers. Our job was to produce and distribute polished, gem-quality diamonds. We were good at it, and that's what mattered. Where they came from and where they went at that time were of secondary concern. But the world that we knew changed dramatically towards the end of the 20th century. When De Beers restructured, it demanded that its clients become more directly involved in driving demand downstream. This exposed us directly to the realities of the concerns of jewelry consumers. For many of us, it was like cooks in a restaurant meeting the people who actually eat the food. It was about the same time that the first reports were received about rough diamonds being used to finance civil wars, and these were often accompanied by photographs, terrible photographs, of civilians and often children who had been horribly injured by rebels in the diamond fields. The conflict diamond crisis, as it came to be called, was a defining moment for our industry. Not only did it expose us to the human suffering that was occurring in certain of the diamond mining regions, but it also clarified that we were links in a chain of distribution in which events at one end could have serious consequences all the way through the other. Whereas just several years earlier, we had worked in splendid isolation, now we were consciously members of a business that stretched from mine to market. Ignorance is bliss was no more. Our first reaction, and may I add a very positive reaction, to end the conflict was to create the World Diamond Council. The World Diamond Council was established. They deserve a music. We didn't plan that, but they deserve it. The World Diamond Council was established, and I would like to recognize its president, the inimitable Mr. Eli Isaacoff, who has led this extraordinary organization right from the beginning. Eli has done so much for the industry in so many different facets. He has stood at the forefront and vanguard of every major decision that's being made, and how many times he has worked behind the scenes to make sure that things have worked effectively. He is the captain and catalyst of our industry and tremendously respected throughout the world. I am proud to call him my mentor and my friend. The WDC played a critical role in the development and implementation of the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme in 2003, and itself established a system of warranties which creates a paper trail all the way from the mining areas to the individual items of jewelry. The industry voluntarily agreed to be regulated, which is an act that has few, if any, precedents in the entire business world. As members of the loose diamond and trade, New York occupies the central section of the diamond pipeline, connecting the rough diamond sector to the jewelry sector. We control neither supply nor demand, but our well-being is dependent upon there being a proper balance between the two. In the modern diamond business, the dialogue that we maintain with the producers of rough, as well as the purveyors of jewelry, is absolutely critical. In the case of New York, we are the connector, the conduit that joins the pipeline to the world's largest and most valuable jewelry market. Yes, Africa no longer exists over the horizon. Whereas London was traditionally the primary site of DTC sales, it will now be Gabrione. Members of our industry have set up cutting facilities in Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa, providing jobs as well as knowledge and work experience. With its apparently massive and almost untapped supply of rough diamonds, Zimbabwe is poised to become a major player in our industry. The timing is most opportune, for demand for polished diamonds is rising, while supply from the traditional producers has virtually plateaued. And just as the polished diamonds will benefit from a steady and ready supply of Zimbabwean goods, so should the people of Zimbabwe benefit from the country's natural legacy. It is a model that has parallels in my country. In January 1848, gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill in Northern California, which at that time was not even a recognized U.S. state. The California gold rush, as it came to be called, had a massive effect on the region. The nearby town of San Francisco grew from a small settlement into a major metropolis. Immigrants flocked in, leading to the establishment of other communities which were connected together by roads and railways. Within 1 year, a state constitution was written and a governor and legislature elected. Today, California is home to the largest population and economy in all of the U.S. It is responsible for 13% of the country's gross domestic product, and in its own right has a GDP that is larger than but 8 countries worldwide. My fervent wish is that Zimbabwe's diamond resource will be a catalyst for the country's own vibrant future, just as gold was for California more than 160 years ago. Consumers should come to recognize and regard Zimbabwean diamonds in an altogether positive light as a resource that is helping to improve the lives and prospects of an entire nation. That is a narrative that we, the members of the U.S. diamond trade, would be delighted to propagate in our country's jewelry market. His Excellency the President spoke yesterday about Bintus, people that have been to Paris, been to London, and he said that impressed everyone years ago. My friends, I am proud to go home tomorrow to my children and grandchildren and tell them that I've been to Zimbabwe. I felt your warmth, shared your compassion, admired your work ethic, and I've become enamored by your smiles. Everyone smiles. You must know something that we don't know. And trust me, maybe I'm naive, but I still would love to live in a world where we could all live together under one clear blue azure sky with no borders, no regulations, no restrictions, just relationships based on good old will and friendship for all. Thank you for inviting me to your country, and thank you for listening.